How you doing, world? This is JJ, and I'm your host with African American News Channel. Now today we have some very interesting videos for you guys today. So grab your popcorn, get you some cold to drink, and come right back, because you don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this. Now my first video is about a British man who says African American don't think anybody else is black besides them. Watch this video.
Oh, have you noticed that black Americans don't think anyone else is black apart from them? Can't lie, man. Being English, I'm thankful sometimes because the accent that you gave me, it saves me across the world, fam. Before they think I'm a typical you guys will say something that lets me know I am different to you. There was one time we went to New York and me and my brother just crossed the road anyhow. When we crossed the street, one policeman stopped us. Excuse me, sirs. Y'all can't cross the street like that. Y'all can't cross the street like that. Obviously, me and my brother are just kids. So we've told him like, oh, we didn't know we can't cross the street like that. We're sorry, we're not from here. Do you know what the policeman said to us? Do you know what he said? He said, man, I like that accent. Y'all free to go. Y'all free to go. I thought y'all was black. In our face, he said that he thought we were black. So what am I then? You're not black. You can't be black. Y'all British blacks be crazy as fuck, man. How the fuck y'all be black, British, African at the same time? How you do that shit, man? Make up your mind, fool.
How did you guys feel about that video? Was he right or was he wrong? Comment below. Now my next video is about an African American woman who says they don't care if you eat jollof rice or fried chicken and macaroni and cheese. They look at all of us the same. Whew. Watch this video.
Y'all know me. I'm always late to the party because, I have to observe before I interject my own opinions, thoughts, and experiences in education to the conversation. But let's go ahead and just tap on this diaspora war that we're constantly fucking having. Y'all do know on all sides, it's really giving anti-black. No matter who says what on what side and which culture and which ethnicity, which tribe, it's giving anti-black. From every fucking body. Yeah. And with that being said, I need everybody to understand that if we're walking down the street, going to a restaurant, applying for school, they don't give a fuck if we eat jollof rice or fried chicken and mac and cheese. We still gonna be some with the hard ER. I really need y'all to understand that. That's why all of this shit is pointless. Y'all do understand this is just white supremacy rearing its ugly ass head in the form of a diaspora war with anti-blackness. Y'all do understand we were given this hatred of ourselves because it really is ourselves fighting against ourselves because we're really from the same landmass and we're arguing because a boat took us somewhere else. Meanwhile, we're all still colonized. I need y'all to wake the fuck up and stand up.
I'm back. How did you guys feel about that video? Was she right or was she wrong? Comment below. Now my next video is about an African woman who says the ones that need a break, they don't get a break. The ones that don't need a break, they get a break. It sounds like that's unfair. Whew. That gotta be unfair. Watch this video.
The US, when they borrow money, they're getting it in 1.5, 1.9 interest rate. Africans, when they get the same amount of money, they're paying 9, 10%. The people who don't need a break, they get a break. The ones who need a break, they don't get a break. The sheer survival of the World Bank, IMF, is based on the fact that African countries and many other developing countries do not succeed. Their success is based on our failure. That has to change. And guess who can make that change? We, the children of Africa, we, the Africans, are the ones who have to say, we know your game now. Enough is enough. We're not playing it anymore. And this is where the diaspora come in. There are more Ghanaian doctors in New York City than in the entire country of Ghana. There are more Nigerian doctors in LA than in the entire country of Nigeria. So let's be serious here. What Africa needs is capacity, capacity, capacity. And that capacity is in the diaspora. So it behooves us to bring the diaspora together. Let them understand what is really going on in our Africa. Diaspora are not going home. Diaspora are angry about Africa because they are not understanding the root cause of why Africa is where it is today. They think getting rid of a president will take care of the problem. Far from it. That president is just going to be replaced by another one who's going to equally suffer from the same difficult environment to work in. So let's look at an Africa that must be free to take care of herself, an Africa that's free from exploitation from outsiders. The multinationals who are stealing from Africa every day in broad daylight. I use an example of the DRC. If you ever fly very low over the DRC, you'll see tarmacs in the jungle. You'll see 747s flying into DRC, picking up minerals and flying right out. The same multinationals are responsible for arming young people and giving them MK-16s. Because why? Their satellites in the skies are telling them where that village is. There are lots of diamonds. So what do? Arm young people, drag them up, and send them to go chop off a few heads. The rest of the village runs away, so they come behind and do their illegal mining. We black people must understand what is really going on. Because what we are shown instead is, oh, look at those Africans killing each other. There are some serious games that have been played in Africa for far too long. And once we understand that, we can strategize as to how we can begin to bring the difference and bring the change that Africa needs. And that change can only come if the African diaspora are united. And the Wakanda villages, as I call them, it is our organized way of saying, starting with one African diaspora center of excellence, it will be a new city, a developmental hub that we can then take from there. Every sector is developed. Take healthcare. How many doctors do we need in this region to take care of this many people? We pick up education, same thing. We pick up engineering. We pick up electricity. How many megawatts of power do we have in the region? How many do we need? Be it solar, be it wind, be it hydro, be it geothermal, be it nuclear.
How did you guys feel about that video? Was she right or was she wrong? Comment below. Now my next video is about an African American woman who says, why would you go to another person's land, talking about Africa, whose history they don't even know? Watch this video.
Imagine knowing the mass genocide of your ancestors. Imagine knowing that they buried infant babies up to their neck alive and played kickball until their head detached. Imagine knowing every governmental building was built on the back of your ancestors. And imagine being convinced to leave all of that to go to another person's land whose history they don't even know.
How did you guys feel about that video? Was she right or was she wrong? Comment below. Now my next video is about a Canadian woman who says African Americans are rude. They wonder why other cultures from the diaspora don't like them and have so much negative things to say about them. African Americans, they act like everywhere else is dangerous and they act like it ain't no danger in America. Watch this video.
I am a Black American and I absolutely love to travel to the continent of.
This is for the African Americans who think exactly like her, because I know it's not all of you. Whenever you decide to buy a ticket and visit another country, predominantly Africa or the Caribbean, can you please make sure to leave that stereotypical mindset that was inflicted upon you by these white people that oppressed you at the door before you enter? And if you can't do that, simply don't go. A girl went to Africa and someone got injured. Oh my God, someone got injured. Someone's phone got stolen. Oh my God, someone's phone got stolen. Sweetheart, you are from a country where a teenager can go to Walmart and buy a gun. America has the highest number of serial killers. You are from a country where when a white teenager feels depressed, he goes and shoots up a school. You are from a country where people who look exactly like you get murdered in broad daylight with all the evidence to show that they were actually murdered and never get any justice. So please explain to me how you can boldly acknowledge crime or incidents elsewhere, but you can't notice it in your own backyard. So crazy to me how the Western world have conditioned and convinced themselves and the people in their community to believe that crime exists everywhere else apart from the Western world. No, because let me do this again. Did people not die at Ariana Grande's concert in Manchester, England? Did Kim Kardashian not get robbed at gunpoint in Paris? And yet you still only acknowledge that crime exists in Africa? Some of these people are the same ones who will come on social media and make these stereotypical jokes about Africa, about the fact that Africa doesn't have any water. Meanwhile, Michigan don't have none neither. You lot will come on this app and stay shouting about how they live in mud huts and how they live in trees, but will never take a moment to look at the statistics of homelessness in LA and New York. People like you will come on this app and stay preaching and talking about how impoverished and poor and disadvantaged and how sad it is to be African and live in Africa because of how Africa is. Meanwhile, you're getting oppressed in your own country. Believe it or not, it's the same way when some of them go to the Caribbean. And you know, funny enough, same thing happens in Jamaica. Same thing. If you ever travel to Jamaica, just make friends with one of the staff at the hotel and ask them the worst guests who visit, and they will boldly tell you African Americans. And you wonder why some Caribbeans and Africans simply just don't like some of you. Because you lot come here and stay in other people's business and stay talking shit, knocking your cent against somebody else's dollar. You lot can really stay at the land of the free that ain't free. You really can stay there. Nobody's begging you to carry your bag and come. Do you understand? Don't buy tickets. Stay home. Good night.
How did you guys feel about that video? Was she right or was she wrong? Comment below. Now my next video is about an African American woman who says her grandfather was born in Nigeria. He's full Nigerian. He was captured by the British and forced into labor. That's cold. Watch this video.
My grandfather was born and raised in Nigeria. He was captured by the British and forced to work on the British Railroad in Nigeria. They gave him the minimal food stipend for him to keep himself alive, and he was not allowed to leave. He contracted smallpox and was relocated to a quarantine to die. He survived, which he attributes to Jesus, met my grandmother, had my dad, and passed away when my dad was 4. Although it was forced labor, we don't consider it slavery. We think of it more of like a conscription or a military draft. Given his situation, my family couldn't have participated in the slave trade even if they wanted to. But I and other members of my family still feel indebted to the survivors of the transatlantic slave trade and their descendants, including some of you who may be watching this video now. Because I have been told of places in my small town where people were kept enslaved and then sold. Their descendants may today live somewhere in the Americas. And although we haven't been able to find evidence of our direct involvement, my family may have benefited just from the benefits to society at large, from the value exchange of human life for monetary goods, which may have indirectly benefited us on the African side. On the US side, every opportunity that my father had as a Black man to build the life that he did for our family was built on the backs of those who struggled and died and suffered after they or their ancestors were trafficked here. My dad is extremely resilient, persistent, creative, and has had the shit beat out of him by police on multiple occasions, some of which sent him to the hospital. But even with all that, he would not have been able to build the life that he did if not for all of the efforts of Black Americans. I do witness African immigrants shitting on Black Americans in spite of benefiting from their labors. And because so many Africans are ignorant as to the history of what happened to Black people in this country, a lot of their rhetoric really reminds me of some of the things I hear some white people say here in the US. On the other hand, I've also seen Africans feeling extremely excited to welcome any Black Americans back into the fold who are interested in coming back to their African heritage, including the entire country of Ghana, which initiated their year of return last year to repatriate Diasporans Americans. A couple of friends who, through DNA, have discovered which countries they've descended from, went and actually became citizens of those countries and changed their names. At the same time, I also fully understand the Black Americans who are like, no, I'm not African. Fuck Africa. They sold us. My position is to only speak about myself and to support others in whatever they speak about themselves. Up until this video, I have made zero commentary on anything related to Black Americans. But because of the strained relationship between Black Americans and African immigrants, I understand why I've received a couple of comments from people reacting to my videos as if I have. So let me explicitly say, this entire channel is my own personal experience. It doesn't have to do with any other group of people. It doesn't even represent Nigerians. It doesn't represent white people. It doesn't represent Mormons. It doesn't represent Black people. It doesn't represent mixed people. It only represents me personally. In my half Black, half white video, I did not say that mixed people should identify a particular way, nor did I comment anywhere toward African Americans or anything related to American history, and actually explicitly said the opposite, that mixed people should identify however they feel comfortable according to their own historical context. So in summary, my African immigrant family is indebted to Black Americans. My experiences and opinions do not represent Black Americans, nor are they directed at Black Americans. So please do not take them as me trying to interfere. And to be super clear to all the people who think that all Black people are the same, I'm referring specifically to the foundational Black Americans whose ancestors were trafficked to the United States, who were forced to forge their own identities, freedom, and rights from scratch and are still doing so. All that said, if my foundational Black American kin see any of my videos and feel that I've said something harmful, please just let me know so I can learn. It's my dream that by learning about each other and really hearing each other, that we can get along and work together for a better reality for all of us. In spite of whatever mistakes I may have made or may make in the future, my hopes are for togetherness and love. Finally, to those of you watching who are not Black African or descended thereof, please do not volunteer your opinion about the relationship between African immigrants and Black Americans. You will be blocked. Thank you for being here and educating yourself. Be respectful, please learn, and enjoy.
How did you guys feel about that video? Was she right or was she wrong? Comment below. Now my take on today's videos is this. Everybody's going to have negative things to say. Everybody's going to have positive things to say. But you can't go based off what nobody has to say. You have to get your own experience. Unless you experienced it, you can't pick a side. Because negative things happen everywhere and good things happen everywhere. So you need to experience it for yourself. Do your own research. When you traveling, when you mingling, when you meeting other people, going to other countries, how was your experience? Was your experience good or was your experience bad? You will never know until you get your own experience. So don't let anything that anybody say or anything you see discourage you from doing what you want to do. Whether that's traveling to Africa, whether that's traveling to the Caribbean, whether that's traveling to Latin America, whether that's traveling to Jamaica, or whether that's traveling to America. Make sure that you get your own experience. And if you have a good experience, then obviously you will have something different to say. If you have a bad experience, then obviously you will have something bad to say. It's nothing wrong with people who been through stuff or who had their own experience without listening to a word of mouth or seeing what they see, give their opinion on what they went through. All information is good information, whether it's bad or good. But remember, you need your own experience to make your choice. Don't let nobody else's experience discourage you from making your choice. My name is JJ. This is African American News Channel. If you like today's videos, please like, subscribe, and comment. God bless you all. Have a beautiful day and know that you are loved.
Miscellaneous fact of the day. Africa has 5 regions: North, South, Central, East, and West. But did you know they created a 6th region? As part of the African Union, the 6th region is for us in the diaspora. Yeah, every leader of every African country got together to make room for us. That means you can get dual citizenship in any country in Africa. It's kind of like the Jewish birthright. Any Jew across the world can go home to Israel for their birthright. So we've all been invited to come home and become voting members of the African Union. That's for all of us,